Hi everyone, I'm back. It's Dee again. Thank you for coming back to another live art class with me. I've loved having you here in previous weeks, and if this is your first time, then welcome. It's lovely to have you here doing some art with us. Today what we're going to do is we're going to be making recycled cardboard cityscapes. So what you're going to need today is you are going to be needing, I might pop that one away for now, you are going to be needing a cereal box, a cardboard cereal box, and you are going to need a ruler, and you're going to need a pencil. I've got a mechanical pencil, but a normal one is okay, eraser, and you are going to need a black pen, and you are going to need scissors, and coloured pencils, coloured markers if you have them, you won't necessarily need to use them, and gel pens if you would like to use those as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our cardboard box and we're going to make sure that there's no cereal left in there. So make sure that you have permission to use it, and it doesn't matter what coloured cardboard is on the inside, whether it's white or grey or brown. Whatever it is will be fine. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look to see where the join is. Okay, so where the two pieces of cardboard overlap and get glued together to make the box. So we're going to look to see where that is, and you can see it's this corner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully take my scissors and I'm going to cut along that corner. And because there's a fold there, you kind of have a guideline in which to cut along. So it should be fairly easy. So the best way to cut is slowly and carefully, and keep watching where you want to cut. So after we've cut along there, next we're going to do is we're going to cut all the way around this line of the base. Now what we're going to be doing by cutting around here is we're going to end up making a flat piece of cardboard in which to do our art. So keep cutting. Again, we've kind of got a guideline because that's where the fold in the cardboard is. So my line's a little bit wonky, but that's okay. It'll still work. Keep cutting right along. You can see that there's just one bit left hanging on. So we'll keep cutting along this fold line. Cutting, cutting. There we go. So now instead of a box, we have a flat piece of cardboard. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just trim off these bits at the top, and I'm going to trim off this edge here where we've got that double layer of cardboard where they glued it together to make the box. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a trim. So then we have got a flat rectangular piece of cardboard in which to do our art. So just cutting off all of these excess bits we're not really going to need. You may need a little bit of help with this bit. See how you go. Okay, so there is my rectangular piece of cardboard. Now what we're going to do, got a few crumbs on there from the cereal, is we're going to take our ruler and we're going to be separating and ruling lines so that we end up with long, skinny rectangles, okay? Because they are going to be our guidelines for our buildings. Now you'll see that because of the way the box was made, we already have two fold lines, we already have two guidelines for this part of our artwork. So I'm going to make that into a building. So we're basically just separating this space and this space. And I'm going to turn each of these spaces into two buildings each. So I'm going to measure along the bottom, put my 0 of my ruler at the edge of the cardboard, have my ruler so it's along the edge of the cardboard, and I'm going to measure, I think I'm going to measure 9 centimeters. So I put a little pencil mark at the 9. Okay, so you can see a little pencil mark there. I'm going to do the same at the top. Put my 0 on the edge of the cardboard. Make sure my ruler runs along the top edge and put a little mark where the 9 is. Then I'm going to take my ruler. It's kind of like playing dot to dot, this bit. Make sure I can see this mark and this mark right on the edge of the ruler. I'm going to spread my fingers out, push down firm, and then rule lightly along the edge of the ruler with my other hand. So now you can see we've got 1, 2, 3 long or tall rectangles. Now I'm going to do the same on this side. Measure along. What size shall I make these? I might have this one, I might start with 7. So this time I'm putting the 0 at the fold line. You can always turn your cardboard upside down though, so that your 0 is on the edge if that is easier for you. Okay, 7 up there. Dot to dot. Put my ruler along so that I can see the 2 dots on the edge of my ruler. Push down firm with my spread out fingers and rule my line. Okay, so now you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rectangles. And they are going to be my buildings. I think I might have it up this way. A few creases up there that I might try and avoid. So we possibly won't need the ruler again, but you're certainly going to need your pencil again. I might. Right, so what we're going to do is we are going to draw our buildings so they are the full width of each of these rectangles. Okay, so what I might do is I might do this middle one, which is the narrowest one, as my tallest building. So I'm going to start with a circle at the top, in the middle, okay, I'll show you how I've started. So there's how I've started. So you can see that I've started in the middle and I've taken my roof line out to the edge of where my building width is going to be, okay? So then I don't actually need to draw a line along there because I've kind of already got one, okay? So that's going to be the full width of my building. Now I might do some stairs down the bottom, and my stairs are just going to be very long, skinny rectangles stacked on top of each other. And then I'm going to do a door on top. I'll show you in a sec. Okay, so you can see long, skinny rectangles stacked on top of each other, getting smaller with each one I stack on top. And then I've got an arch-shaped door on top. So what you can do is you can think of different types of buildings that you want to do, whether they're houses, whether they're apartments, whether they're city buildings, whether they're shops. Think about the sorts of buildings. Think about how high or how tall you would like them. Think about having different sizes, different heights. Also, when we did our initial lines, think about how wide you want your buildings, whether you want some really wide, whether you want some really narrow. Then you can think about shapes that you want to use. You might want to, like you can see, almost looks like I've made the roof out of Lego, the way it steps down either side. So you think about the shapes and you can see that I've used a circle at the top and I've got an arch for the door down the bottom. So you can use rectangles, you can use diamonds, triangles, flower shapes, heart shapes, whatever sorts of shapes you want to use. Then what you do is you start adding in some detail. Unless you want, we might start adding some detail. So I'm going to do a big window and I'm going to do, this might be a city building, I think. Maybe a big office building. So lots of windows for lots of offices. Might take me a while to do them all though. Might just do a few so then you get the idea. So lots of rectangles. So you can get the idea, and you can just keep continuing down here. Now we might do a building next to it. We might make this one a shop, I think. Maybe a little cafe. So I'm going to start with an arch in the middle. Another different shaped roof. And we might have an awning. An awning is kind of like a roof, only it's made out of fabric. Usually made out of fabric. You quite often see them hanging out over the footpath, and you might have people sitting at tables underneath getting served their cups of coffee or cups of tea. Maybe some food too. Given my awning some stripes. Can you see the stripes? Then you can see the edge that I've given it as well. I think my fingers are in the way. Okay. Now I might just give it another arch window up here. And one there. We might give that one a bit more of a roof. And some more little windows in here. So you can really come up with any sorts of designs that you like. Now I might draw one more, and then we might make this one a bit bigger in its roof, maybe a bit fancier. See, I'm making lots of lines. You can do that when you're doing pencil. Good idea to draw light until your line is right. Because if you make a mistake or you don't like where you put a line, it's much easier to rub out with your eraser if you have drawn lightly. Okay? Got a lot of arch doors and windows happening here, haven't I? Here's another one. This one we might put a couple of pot plants either side though. Make it look more like a home. What might we do here? We might do maybe some oval windows. Like an oval, oval, oval. There you go. There's some oval windows. So you can see that I'm using all sorts of shapes. You can also see that I'm not doing lines down the side because I've already got those lines ruled from when we did our first lines with our ruler. So they are edges of our buildings. Okay. Now the next step is you go over your lines with a black pen. So go over your lines, don't worry about the lines that you don't want, we can rub those out afterwards. So roll over, go over all of our lines, all of the lines that you want to keep that you are happy with. So just choose the lines that you like the best. Now this project does take a while So it might be something that you like to come back to. You might do a bit and then you might walk away and then you might come back to it again. And you could make more than one. You could make maybe a cityscape where there's lots of office buildings. Make all of your buildings like that. And then you could make another one that's all houses, another one that's all shops, and you can have them all at different heights. So then they can all sit in front of each other. Doing some crosses down the bottom here, make it look like a fence. Now doing some stripes on my awning. Okay, there we go. You can see I've gone over my lines now with black. Now what we do once we've done all of our lines, then we can rub out our pencil marks. Okay, don't rub out these side ones though. Very important, okay? Make sure you leave those ones there because we need to know where the edges of our buildings are. Okay, so you can see where that is. Now I'm going to show you how I colour as well. Now the first thing I'm going to colour is my awning. And I'm just using coloured pencils and I'm making my awning red and white stripes. That seems like the perfect colours for awnings. So try and colour so that you cover all of the coloured cardboard underneath. Okay, so no patchy drawings. None like that. No patchy colouring. Try and colour so that you've coloured in the whole shape. Now I've got a white pencil. I wonder if the white pencil will work on this cardboard. Oh, a little bit. It's not often that you get to use your white pencil if you've got one, because usually you're colouring on white paper. White doesn't show up so good on white. Okay, now I might make it a yellow building. So colouring, I'm going to show you how to use a couple of different colours in a sec and do some blending. Okay, so we'll just colour in this background first. Now you'll see that I am colouring in different directions. It's not normally something that I suggest, but if you are colouring in a way that you don't see your pencil lines, so you don't see the backwards and forwards motion in your lines, then yeah, it's okay. Unless, of course, you want to see those lines, in which case, go for it. But for today's class, we're going to try and make it so that we can't see our colouring pencil lines. So to do that, what I encourage my kids to do is to do small strokes, slowly and close together. Okay, so no big ones rushing where they're all far apart. We try and do them so that they're close together and slow and small. So you can see it does take a little bit of time because there's a bit of a process to it, but it looks pretty cool once it's done. It's something that you can easily pop up on a shelf or maybe on a table, chest of drawers in your room, and it's something that, because there's folding involved at the end, it's even something that you can post to somebody in the mail as well. So you can send it to somebody else as a gift for them. You could even do the houses in your street. Or at least make sure you put your own house in there. Maybe you might want to put your school You could make it all about you. You could do one building that is your house, one building that is your school, maybe one building that is your favourite place to eat. Maybe you could do your best friend's house as well. Maybe you could even do your pet's house. Maybe your dog has a kennel. You could make one of them your dog's kennel. That would be pretty cool. That would be a very super-sized house though, wouldn't it? Okay, now we might have a red roof, I think. Red roof. And we're going to make blue windows. Windows are generally made of glass and they often appear blue because you see the reflection of the sky in them, and the sky is blue. So we're going to do our windows blue, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this blue pencil. So I've just used a light blue for the windows. Now I'm going to use a dark blue, and I'm just going to go just on the inside. You can see with this one, gone on the inside and it's darker. I've pressed down, it's almost like a line or an outline. Next I'm going to go just inside of that and I'm going to press lighter, which will blend in that darker blue into the light blue. So you can kind of see it. I know it's very small, but you'll be able to see it when I do something like that with the yellow of the building, which I'm just going to do these windows now that I've started. So dark outline, and then just inside that dark outline, we're going to press lighter. So it will blend in the dark with the light. So following the shape, press firm around the outside and then press lightly just next to that firm line so you get a lighter version of the same colour. You could practice that actually on this bit. So on this bit we're not going to be using that bit, so you can practice pressing lightly with your pencil and then pressing with more pressure. So dark and light. Can you see that? It's the same pencil, but we get two different colours. And we could probably get a whole lot of different ones in between too. So I've finished those ones now. We might just grab the orange pencil. So you can see in the background we've got a yellow orange. It's like a sunshine yellow. Now with the orange, I'm going to, like what we did with the blue in the windows, I'm going to press dark around the outline with the orange, and then I'm going to press lighter going from the orange into the yellow of the walls. I'll show you in just a sec. Okay, so you can see on this side, I've only got my dark orange outline so far. And then on this side, you can see that I've got not only my dark outline, but I've also used the lighter version of the same coloured pencil to try and blend the dark outline of the orange with the yellow of the wall together. Okay, so I'll just do this side as well. So then the two sides match. Okay, and I'm going to do a little bit underneath each of these windows. Underneath this one. So you can even think about having pot plants in front of your buildings, balconies, chimneys, flags, all sorts of things. Now, I'm thinking that I might have an orange door. Two orange doors. Okay, so you can see I've coloured in the orange doors. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it the same effect that I've done with the others, where I'm going to give it a red outline. Gee, I can't see that one very well. I'll use a darker red. Dark outline. And then we're going to press lighter next to that dark outline to blend it into the orange of the doors. There we go. You can see that there. Okay. We might give this orange and a bit of red again. And down the bottom, I think we might continue the colour theme. So you might want to make your houses or your buildings rainbow colours, or you might like to think about, okay, I want to make each of my buildings a different colour. And then in each of those colours you might use a few pencils that all kind of look similar but are different. So for instance, if I wanted to make a greenhouse, then I could use these green pencils, or I might want to use yellow as well. That ties in. That's a lovely colour grouping. Now, I might just give the front of this awning some orange, and then I think I'm finished with this building. And what we will do then is I might just quickly draw up just the roof line of these two rectangles, so then I can show you how you cut out along the edge and show you how we fold in between. So we might have another funky line. Might do another house here with a brick wall and a big tall chimney. This is the chimney. And we might have it like it's a triangle roof. I won't do in all of the rest of the details for now, even though I'd like to, but we might take too much time. And this one, we might make this one into a grand house. So this one has a couple of levels, and maybe it has a special roof, a couple of dormer windows. You can see that with these buildings, I'm taking the buildings right out to the edges. That way it will work best. Oh, we might make it 3 levels. Oh, I guess it's 4 including the attic. There we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3 levels plus the attic. Okay, so you can see now that I've finished all of my roof line, but you can keep drawing yours until you get it up to this stage. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our black pen. So this is a ballpoint pen, okay? So it's, or a biro, I'm not sure what you might call it in your house. This is a sort of pen that you would often do lots of writing with, okay? And we are going to draw over our first lines, okay? If you go right up the top, it won't matter. We're going to press firm, okay? Press really firm. Don't need to do these two because they already have fold lines, okay? So they already have slight bumps. So what we're doing is we're trying to create a little indentation with these lines. So that means that you need to make sure you hold your ruler very, very still. Okay, because if it moves, you'll end up with pen drawing all over your hard work. So drawing, and you know what? If your pen doesn't work, okay, like mine was not, then it won't matter, because you don't necessarily need the outline. You just need an indentation. So if you feel with your finger, you can kind of feel how it goes into the cardboard there. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to take our scissors and we're going to carefully cut around the topmost edge of your building. So basically all around the top of the roofs. Okay, so again, we're going to cut carefully and slowly and look at the line that we are cutting. So carefully, slowly. Now, I have come down to the black line that we just drew. You see that? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up this edge of the building and then follow around the roof. But you know what? It's starting to get a little bit too hard with all of this cardboard here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down from the top along this line, and I'm going to get rid of some of that cardboard to make it a little bit easier. Okay, careful you don't keep cutting, you don't want to cut your whole building off. So you can see that I have now got the outline of this roof. So we're going to keep cutting around the next building's roof. Cutting slowly, carefully, and following the line. You follow the line not just with your scissors, but you follow it with your eyes too. Makes it much easier to do something if you're looking at it. And you can see that while I'm cutting, I'm turning the cardboard around with my other hand. Makes it much easier. Now again, it's getting a little bit hard to cut in here, so I'm going to cut from the top along this line. Cutting slowly, carefully, watching where I'm cutting. Cutting it down to there. That makes it a little bit easier to cut this bit out, okay? So cutting slowly, carefully, so that we're following the line. There we go. So that's 2 buildings we've cut out now. So we've just got 3 more to do. So this one I'm going to cut in from the edges. Might be a little bit easier. And then I'm going to cut down from the top. Slowly, carefully cutting around shapes. This one might be a little bit tricky because I've got a circle on a stick. Might get a little bit flimsy and it might break off, but we'll just have to see. If it does break off, we'll just change the shape of the roof. Okay? So you can see that I've cut up this edge. So now we'll cut around this circle. See, I'm moving the cardboard with my other hand. Cutting it down. So far, I didn't chop off that circle. I've done well. Okay, we might cut down from this fold now. And we don't stop just here. We can continue down to where the top of this roof is. So we keep continuing down, all the way down to where the next roof is. Okay, now we're going to cut out the rest of this building. Cutting into the corners, cutting into the corners. Okay, now I'm going to cut down this line. Now I don't need to stop where this roof is. I need to go down to where this lower roof is. I'll cut down. That's it. Now it's going to be a little bit trickier because I've got this cardboard in the way and I can't cut it off. So I'm just going to chop off part of this cardboard because we don't need it. It's just getting in my way. That will make it much easier to manage. So cutting along here. A little bit chopped which way? There. Okay. And here. You can actually, if you wanted to, you could even leave all this background here, and you can always turn it into sky if you like. You could even draw clouds or birds or maybe hang gliders or hot air balloons, planes, helicopters. You could do anything in the sky. Okay, that way you don't have to do this cutting if you don't want to. Okay, or if you have a different idea. Okay, nearly done. Just one roof to go. Cutting along this one. Little triangle to cut around. Cutting along the roof. Another triangle. Bit more roof. And down the other side. Okay, done. So there is the outline. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we've already got some bendy bits where these folds are, back from when it used to be a cereal box. But now what we need to do is we need to fold along these lines. And you remember that we drew with our black pen along there and we pressed nice and firm? That is actually going to make it much easier for us to fold along these lines so we get a straight fold. Okay, so if you just turn your page sideways, might do this way, and have the smallest space next to you, smallest part of the cardboard, and then hold your fingers where it's going to fold gently, and then put your thumbs underneath. You see how you can't see my thumbs? And they are going to carefully push up while I'm holding the cardboard down, and it should fold along there. And once you're pretty sure it is going to fold along there, then you can take your fingers out and then fold it and then press down firm once you are happy with where it's folded. Okay, so you can see that. So there is part of our roof done, part of our folding done rather. So we're going to fold in like a zigzag line, okay? So you can see that we have gone down, up, down. We're going to do up and then down. So that means this needs to be a mountain fold. This is a valley fold, so it looks like it's down in the valley. This is a mountain fold. It looks like it's up the top of a mountain. Then we've got another valley, so we need a mountain. So this means we need to fold it the other way. So we might flip it over, and we're going to keep our fingers resting there, thumbs underneath, gently fold up. Once we're happy with where it is, then we can make the fold more permanent. Okay, so there we have our cityscape that will actually stand up. And you can see that you can fold it all together and you can put it in an envelope and send it to somebody or give it to somebody. So there's that one. And here's one that I've nearly completed. This is one that I made yesterday. So what you can do is you can even have different heights of your cityscapes and have them sitting in front of one another. So you can see that the one that we made today is much shorter. We put them next to each other. The one that I made yesterday is much taller. So there you go, guys.